sent rockets and satellites into space. However, we are still a long way off from solving our grand problems of education, healthcare, nutrition, and shelter for every one of our 1.4 billion Indians.
Infosys Prize is about honoring the best researcher who solves problems to make India a better place.
Overcoming grand problems requires the work of our country's brightest minds. So if we recognize these minds on a global platform, it will inspire others to come forward and put their minds to solving these grand problems. At the Infosys Science Foundation, our objective is to encourage, recognize and foster world-class scientific research connected to India. The foundation furthers these objectives through the Infosys Prize, an annual award that celebrates outstanding achievements of researchers and scientists.
So Infosys Prize identifies world-class researchers and they become icons and inspire others to follow their footsteps.
Every year, the prize is awarded across 6 categories spanning both the sciences and the humanities with an independent process of nominations. A jury of eminent leaders in each of these 6 categories then evaluates the achievements of the nominees against the standards of international research and places the winners on par with the finest researchers in the world.
Prizes have a tremendous symbolic value. Prizes, in fact, act as great motivators in society. I'm hopeful that the Infosys Prize will raise the awareness of science research and show that scientific research can be rewarding in more than one way.
While the Foundation's work begins with the Infosys Prize, it also strives to create a scientific temper among citizens through outreach and public engagement. It does this through lecture series, book series, innovation challenges, teacher training programs, and science workshops that bring conversations around science to the mainstream.
Highlighting how important science is to everyday life, to the creation of solutions for big problems, is one important way the Science Foundation works, and I hope it will continue to amplify its mission.
I do believe that if you are able to support a large base of scientific talent with the resources that they have, they will come out with discoveries that will lead to solutions for our problems tomorrow.
By making the work of great minds more accessible to the next generation, the Foundation hopes to create role models who inspire young researchers to pursue a career in research while making scientific thinking a part of culture and society.
Human welfare depends on many things, but in the long run, nothing is as important as scientific breakthroughs and intellectual creativity for taking a nation forward.
So be it in the field of mathematical modeling or molecular biology, the passion and determination of a researcher could one day reveal an answer that we've been chasing for decades. Or it could just solve one very specific global challenge that humanity faces and could help drive our society forward. That's what the Infosys Science Foundation strives to promote and support for India and the world.
We have sent rockets and satellites into space. However, we are still a long way off from solving our grand problems of education, healthcare, nutrition, and shelter for every one of our 1.4 billion Indians.
Infosys Prize is about honoring the best researcher who solves problems to make India a better place.
Overcoming grand problems requires the work of our country's brightest minds. So if we recognize these minds on a global platform, it will inspire others to come forward and put their minds to solving these grand problems. At the Infosys Science Foundation, our objective is to encourage, recognize and foster world-class scientific research connected to India. The foundation furthers these objectives through the Infosys Prize, an annual award that celebrates outstanding achievements of researchers and scientists.
So Infosys Prize identifies world-class researchers and they become icons and inspire others to follow their footsteps.
Every year, the prize is awarded across 6 categories spanning both the sciences and the humanities with an independent process of nominations. A jury of eminent leaders in each of these 6 categories then evaluates the achievements of the nominees against the standards of international research and places the winners on par with the finest researchers in the world.
Prizes have a tremendous symbolic value. Prizes, in fact, act as great motivators in society. I'm hopeful that the Infosys Prize will raise the awareness of science research and show that scientific research can be rewarding in more than one way.
While the Foundation's work begins with the Infosys Prize, it also strives to create a scientific temper among citizens through outreach and public engagement. It does this through lecture series, book series, innovation challenges, teacher training programs, and science workshops that bring conversations around science to the mainstream.
Highlighting how important science is to everyday life, to the creation of solutions for big problems, is one important way the Science Foundation works, and I hope it will continue to amplify its mission.
I do believe that if you are able to support a large base of scientific talent with the resources that they have, they will come out with discoveries that will lead to solutions for our problems tomorrow.
By making the work of great minds more accessible to the next generation, the Foundation hopes to create role models who inspire young researchers to pursue a career in research while making scientific thinking a part of culture and society.
Human welfare depends on many things, but in the long run, nothing is as important as scientific breakthroughs and intellectual creativity for taking a nation forward.
So be it in the field of mathematical modeling or molecular biology, the passion and determination of a researcher could one day reveal an answer that we've been chasing for decades. Or it could just solve one very specific global challenge that humanity faces and could help drive our society forward. That's what the Infosys Science Foundation strives At the Infosys Science Foundation, our objective is to encourage, recognize and foster world-class scientific research connected to India through the Infosys Prize.
Infosys Prize is about honoring the best researcher who solves problems to make India a better place.
Every year, the prize is awarded across 6 categories spanning both the sciences and the humanities, placing the winners on par with the finest researchers in the world. The Infosys Science Foundation also strives to create a scientific temper among citizens through lecture series, book series, innovation challenges, teacher training programs and science workshops that bring conversations around science to the mainstream.
Human welfare depends on many things, but in the long run, nothing is as important as scientific breakthroughs and intellectual creativity for taking a nation forward.
That's what the Infosys Science Foundation promotes and supports for India and the world.
Prati Madhugarya, Serene Kasim and Swati Revankar, I welcome you to our office. Good afternoon is more like it, sorry. And we're hosting this press briefing here today to tell you about the new direction of the Infosys Prize, which we are taking after 15 years. Here to tell you more about it are 3 of our trustees, Mr. Narayan Murthy, Mr. Chris Gopalakrishnan, who is also our president, and Dr. Pratima Murthy, who is our newest trustee. So without further ado, I hand over to Chris.
Thank you, Bhavana. And is it working? So thank you, Bhavana. And let me add my welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for attending this briefing. As Bhavana said, after 15 years and 15 years of some successes, we are looking at a new direction for Infosys Prize. In the last 15 years, our laureates have gone on to win bigger prizes, Fields Medal, the Nobel Prize. Their work has had impact on society. 15 years is a time when you want to introspect and look at can we increase the impact that this prize can have on the research ecosystem in India? Can it encourage more students, youth to take careers in science? We decided to change the cutoff age for the candidate. The cutoff age is now 40 years as of November 1, 2024. So that becomes the cutoff age. Previously, the cutoff age was 50 years. We want to identify researchers early on so that we can give them a longer runway to do follow-on research. And hopefully, because we are recognizing them earlier and giving them a longer runway, their contribution to research, to science, to the world would be bigger. Second, we also felt that identifying them early on will inspire youngsters again, youth, because they see now that this is something that they can achieve early on. They don't have to wait for a long period of time early on. So that is the second reason. We have looked around other medals, etc., like the Fields Medal, the Clark's Award, etc., medal. And again, the cutoff criteria is 40 years. So this is a change that we are making. The second is a minor change. Previously, economics was part of social sciences. Now we have created a separate category for economics, and social sciences and humanities are clubbed together. So humanities and social sciences becomes a category, and economics becomes a category. The four other categories are the same: life sciences, physical sciences, mathematical sciences, engineering sciences, and computer science. So those categories remain the same. The purpose for the prize remains the same, and for this I'm going to request Mr. Narayan Murthy to talk about the purpose, the vision behind Infosys Prize.
Thank you, Chris. When Infosys completed 25 years in 2006, the senior management sat down and discussed an issue that we all felt was very important. That this country has given us so much. This world has given all of us so much. So we have to show our gratitude in some way. Therefore, the 6 or 7 people that were part of that meeting decided to contribute about 50% of the corpus from their own funds. And at that time, Chris, 2007, 2007, and after a few years, we separated humanities from social sciences because Professor Amartya Sen felt that it should be done. And as a very progressive, thinking, innovative, discussing and debating organization that both Infosys and Infosys Science Foundation have been, we felt that while the current model of having winners below 50, we felt that the country is moving forward. There are more IITs now, there are more ICERs, more IISc, there is tremendous confidence in the country. We said maybe it is time for us to look at a model that will retain all the wonderful advantages that the previous model had, but in addition add some more, which Chris again spoke about, which is providing a longer runway. That's how we have arrived at the current model. And, as I was speaking to some of you earlier, we also looked at, for example, some of the most important inventions and innovations, at least in STEM area, came from people in their 20s and 30s. For example, Alan Turing, when he enunciated the Turing machine, which is the theoretical foundation for computers, he was just 24. When Albert Einstein enunciated his special theory of relativity, he was just 26. When Ramanujan did his wonderful work in pure mathematics, he was in his early 20s. When Dr. Chandrasekhar, late Chandrasekhar, he came out with Chandrasekhar limit, which is
the mass of a white dwarf to be stable has to be less than or equal to 1.44 times that of sun. He was just 25 when he submitted that thesis to Cambridge University. When you look at John von Neumann, who introduced the idea of stored program computers, he was just 38. And of course, he was at the Institute for Advanced Study, which is the theoretical institute. So he had to take permission from them to construct the world's first stored program computers. And he successfully completed that experiment at the age of 41 and a half. Similarly, look at von Neumann. Von Neumann completed, his game theory at the early 30s. So after looking at both India and outside India, we felt that the trustees, and of course there was discussion with the jury chairs, we all felt that as an innovative, progressive organization, we will take advantage of all the wonderful things that have happened in the current model, and we will experiment with the new model. That's the reason why we have. Sorry. Thank you, Murthy. We also are requiring now the winners who are outside the country to spend about 30 days over a period of time, and this can be over 1 or 2 trips, in a research institute in India, so that one, they can bring their work to India or collaborate with researchers here in India, and again interact and encourage students, PhD students, maybe even undergraduate students, to interact and work with them. So that's an additional request that we are making. It's a desirable thing, and we are hoping that our laureates will accept that and will spend some time in India so we can create more collaborations. Now I want to introduce Dr. Pratima Murthy, who has joined as a trustee at Infosys Science Foundation. As you know, Dr. Pratima Murthy, he is at NIMHANS. He is the full-term director of the institute as of June 18, 2021. Before that, she was a professor and head of department of psychiatry at NIMHANS. She has over 30 years of experience in the field of mental health. She was instrumental in the successful development of state-of-the-art Center for Addiction Medicine at NIMHANS, and has been an active researcher, continues to be an active researcher in the area of addiction. In addition, Dr. Murthy has international exposure and experience, has served as consultant to prominent international agencies such as the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, the International Labour Organization, and the World Health Organization. Recently, she has provided leadership and support to the Telemanus.
They've kind of continued to nurture their areas and have discoveries in the areas and gone on to a lot of greater achievements. In addition, of course, to being in charge of an institution like NIMHANS, I'm also at heart both a clinician and researcher. So I think that again makes me very excited to be in this foundation, and to look at what's happening in terms of the changes. They say change is the only constant, and one of the things that we need to see is not slightly older people who have made significant contributions, which in itself is a great thing, but I also think we need to nurture young minds and young talents so that in their career ahead of them, they start thinking about more national priorities, more global priorities, and working, for example, in the country or with professionals in the country gives them that ability. And I'm sure this prize will give them the head start to be able to do things in their career which will definitely improve lives for people in our country. And we know that inculcating a scientific temper is extremely critical to being able to, pursue good discoveries, innovations, inventions, as well as achievements. So in their achievements, of course, their personal achievements are going to be critical, but if those achievements can then translate into things that improve things for citizens in our country, I think that will be great. And particularly, in some of the areas that I work in, it's going to be very exciting to see changes in the way we look after people, we prevent, adversities, we intervene early in adversities, we overcome adversities. We also know that it's not just people and people's lives, but the environment, which is also critical to making improvements. We're all aware of the adversities that we all have to face. So I think that, again, looking at discovery, looking at scientific ways of changing not just our lives, but our environments as well, for the betterment of humanity is going to be very critical. And I'm sure the people who are going to be awardees in future will address some of these needs. So I just wanted to say that I'm very excited to be here amidst you, and thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Pratima. I want to also state that the award cycle remains the same. The nomination cycle is already started for this year's prize. The announcement, we hope to do this in November as usual, and the prize award ceremony will be in January of 2025. So the cycle remains the same, and another reason for this interaction today is through you, reach out to the nominators, reach out to prospective candidates to apply for the award, and take advantage of the prize in bigger numbers. Thank you, and over to you, Bhavna, for the interaction.
Thank you all. And thank you to the members of the press for actually amplifying the message on the importance of science and research that our foundation has put out over the last 15 years. Mr. Murthy has exhorted many of you to reach out and spread the good word. And I think in the past few years, and all our trustees have indeed done this. So thank you for your partnership. Now, if you have any questions, the floor is open. Please put up your hand and we'll give you a mic. Please introduce yourself before you ask a question.
Ritu from CNBC. Just a word on this change which is being brought about. Winners that are not based in India being requested to spend 30 days at a host institute here. I was just wondering, clearly the intent is to have more contribution.
Hold it slightly nearer your mouth.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
The intent is to have more contribution to be made within India. I'm wondering if 30 days alone is enough, or what was the thinking behind this?
Yeah, so we have some experience in doing this. Infosys has instituted chair at IISc, for example, in the physics department. I have instituted chairs at both IISc and IIT Madras. Government of India also has a program for visiting professors. When they spend some time here, collaboration starts. Then, because today we are all digitally connected, the collaboration continues online. And I've seen that then they write joint proposals, joint projects are done. Recently, NIMHANS announced a project with the University of Liverpool. So such collaborative projects are possible. So getting the people together, getting the collaboration started requires probably 30 days or less, but then the work continues.
Hi, gentlemen.
And also you have to remember, these are people who are at research labs doing research work. For them to kind of spend more time will also be difficult.
Guided by the jury chair to decide,
what specific areas they should look at in computer science each year. Obviously, currently, generative AI, Omni, large language models, these are all very topical subjects. And the reality of any new technology is that if we human beings use these technologies as assistive technologies, then it will do a lot good. However, there are some areas where jobs will have to be replaced. For example, if you try to reconcile the ledger in a bank, it used to take a long time when the number of customers were very small. Today, it is almost impossible. So there will be tasks like autonomous driving, like control in hazardous situations, where jobs will be replaced for the betterment of the humankind. However, in the rest of the areas, I don't think that should be a worry as long as human mind, which is the most flexible instrument, will use these technologies. And I'm sure the jury will look at all these issues in deciding who to give, what prize, etc. But at the end of the day, it has to be research. It has to advance the frontiers of research in that field. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Thank you. I know that trustees have explained this very comprehensively, and you are sticking to the brief and talking around the topic, so there's only so much to say. But we thank you all for coming here, and thank you all for coming here. Again, on a positive note, do continue to amplify this message. Your support is very much still needed, especially with our new direction. Thank you. There's lunch served outside. Please join us for lunch. And if you want a photo, I think our three trustees can stand right there. Mr. Murthy, Chris, and Dr. Murthy, could you just stand here and we'll finish one photo?
You want us to stand?
Before we go.
Can I take off
Yes,
this
take off your
microphone?
Yeah.
It's a good.